We learned simple interest also, right? In our session 2. So
Yes,
we
sir.
learned everything to do with simple interest. Okay, what did we learn in simple interest? Yeah, anyone? What did we learn? We learned, of course, we learned a formula, but we understood how that formula works. So we calculated simple interest as PTR by 100 or PNR by 100, right? P into T into R by 100. We understood how actually that came in. We calculated, if you remember, so if there is R%, we said R% is nothing but R by 100 times of the principal money that we need to get. If it's for 1 year, we'll multiply with 1 because we're getting R% of principal for 1 year. If it's for 2 years, we multiply that with 2. If it is 3 years, we multiply that with 3. If it is n years, we multiplied with number of years, which is n. So it is R into R by 100 times of P into if it is n, if it is number of years is t, then it is t. That's how this PTR by 100, this formula has come in. That's what we learned. So we also solve problems using formulae and without using formulae also. Correct? Did we solve it?
Yes, sir.
So what's the other important formula that we learned? That amount is nothing but principal plus. Yeah, go ahead. Ronak, go ahead.
Principal minus simple interest. Principal plus simple interest.
So principal plus interest, which is in this case, in simple interest case, it is simple interest. So we took it that way and we said A is equal to principal plus your simple interest, formula is PTR by 100. So if that was needed, we used that. But we said if we know this basic formula and when we know how to calculate simple interest, we can transpose the equations here and there and simplify and get to the answers. And we solved a lot of problems in that. No problem, Arjun. No problem. That's fine. We can manage. Yeah. So good. So we saw a lot of problems in the previous class on simple interest. I hope you did some work at home on simple interest, did some problem solving. Is there any problem that you found difficult, unable to solve? Anyone? Do you have any questions on simple interest, which was tough, unable to solve from the book or from your textbook or anywhere for that matter?
No, sir.
Good. So that takes us to the next class, which is compound interest. Okay. I'm sure everyone might have done compound interest at school. Just quickly say yes if you have done compound interest in school. If you have not done, say no quickly so that I know how many of you are fundamentally aware of this concept. Yes or no, just quickly mention in your chat box. Yes, I hear a lot of yeses there. Even if there are no's, please mention no. I get to know that. Varnika, are you there? Veda, are you there? Just type something. Yes. Okay. Oh, I just saw, I forgot, I just saw your name there, Veda. Good. Varnika. Yes. So all of you have done compound interest in school. Good. So what is compound interest? Anyone? Okay, Naisha, you have not derived the formula. Don't worry, we will derive the formula here in this class. Because you're not, the kids at UPrep, I know I don't want especially where I'm taking lectures, I'm sure, you will derive formulae here inside the class, not just remember them. Okay, good. Anyone? What did you learn in compound interest at school? What is compound interest? How different is that from simple interest? Take a shot. No typing. I want explanation. Anyone come in and explain? Ronak?
Yes, sir.
Take a shot.
Sir, I actually don't know.
You don't know? Why you not? Yeah, Veda. Very good. Go ahead.
Sir, I think compound interest is most of the time calculated yearly or quarterly. Simple interest.
So even simple interest can be calculated yearly or quarterly. How different is that?
I think, sir, in simple interest, the interest stays the same throughout, but in compound interest, it changes on different time periods. So for 1 year, it could be 10%, and for the next year, it could be 20%.
It changes. You're right until there, but the way you said it is wrong, Kavya.
Okay.
Yeah, Ronak, go ahead.
So in compound interest, so the principal changes if there are more than one, if there is more than one interest. So
If there is more than?
if it is more than 1 year, sorry.
Okay, if it's more than 1 year, what changes?
Principal.
Okay. Okay, how does it change? That's a good answer, but how does it change? Or why does it change?
So because interest is added into it, and then the amount is taken for the next year. As
No problem. Nope. Okay. Sorry, Ronak, I heard you. 1 second. Akshay, that's fine. Go ahead. You're in the class. That's very important. Okay, Ronak, that's a very good answer. What Ronak says is the principal changes when it comes to compound interest if it is more than 1 year. So the only definition where you went wrong, if it's more than 1 year, is a wrong way of putting it. Even in 1 year, it can change. I'll tell you how. Don't worry. But it's a good answer. You are 99% right. Okay, Ronak will understand why you are not 100% right. Good. Anyone wants to take a shot? Difference between compound interest and simple interest? Good. So let's learn. Yeah, Naisha, go ahead.
Yeah, as far as we've done at school, we find so suppose that it's years, and we find the interest and the amount for the first year, and the amount from the first year becomes the principal for the second year.
Very good. Very good. Very good. So whereas in case of simple interest,
the interest is constant no matter how many years it is.
You mean the principal remains constant?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So that's a very good understanding. Before even I get into the definition, I want you to understand the difference between simple interest and compound interest first. Then we will get into the definitions of it. Okay. So let's assume I have two situations. One is a compound interest situation and one is a simple interest situation. Okay. One is a simple interest situation, another is a compound interest situation. Let's assume I took a loan of say 1,000 rupees at a rate of interest of say 10% for mathematical sake, and here and for the number for say I took it for 4 years. Okay, so even here the same situation, principal is 1,000 rupees, your rate of interest is 10%, and you have taken it for 4 years. Okay, so let's see how we find the difference between we understand the difference between simple interest and compound interest. So as we have already learned simple interest, let's do calculation for simple interest. We have a simple formula. Simple interest is nothing but PTR by 100, but I'll not calculate like that. So you know simple interest for year one. Let me do it for year one. What is a year one? You know, simple interest is 10%, which is 10 by 100 times of your principal, which is 1,000 rupees. Correct? So 10 by 100 of 1,000, you will calculate that and you will say 100 is the interest that you earn in the first year. So how much do you earn in the second year? Once again, you earn 100 rupees in the second year. In the third year also, you'll earn 100 rupees. Fourth year also, you'll earn 100 rupees. So totally, you earn an interest of 400 rupees. This I am doing it without using formula. So you know it how to do it. So you have just done 100 rupees for 1 year. So into 4 will give you 400 rupees. Or if you want to apply the formula, you can simply apply formula and say PTR by 100, P into T into R by 100, which is nothing but your principal is 1,000 rupees. Your time taken is 4 years and rate of interest is 10%. Therefore, 10 by 100 here. So basically this 0, this 0, this 0, this 0 gets cancelled. You get 400 rupees. So the simple interest for you is 400 rupees. You know how to calculate. I've just done some revision. Okay. So now Let's come to compound interest. Now, compound interest, the only difference when it comes to compound interest is what happens. First we'll understand and then we'll define it. Okay. So here in this case, the interest in compound interest at the end of first year. Now, at the end of first year, the compound interest will be same because we calculate 10% of this 1,000 rupees. Therefore, 10% of that 1,000 rupees is basically nothing but 100 rupees. So that is your compound interest at the end of 1 year. So, but when we calculate compound interest of second year, here I'm assuming interest is calculated annually. That's the assumption here. Okay. So interest is calculated annually, or it is compounded annually. That's the language that is used. Compounding itself is definition. Compounding, you are adding to something. Compounding, you are adding up something. That's the meaning of compounding, right? Now what happens in the year 2 is you will calculate. So basically your principal was 1,000 rupees. At the end of year 1, your interest earned is 100 rupees. So your new principal amount at the end of first year will become 1,100. This interest adds up to the principal. So what happens is, in that case, now you calculate 10%, which is 10 by 100 times of, instead of 1,000 rupees, you calculate it for 1,100 rupees. So that means your 10 by 100 of 1,100, these two zeros gets cancelled. You actually earn 110 rupees. Now, when you calculate compound interest for the third year, now when you go for the third year, now the compound interest will be calculated on the principal plus interest of first year plus interest of second year. So compound interest at the end of third year will be 10%. So your rate of interest is not changing. Your rate of interest is still remains same. So one of you said the rate changes. No, rate remains same. But the rate at which it is calculated changes. It is calculated on principal plus interest earned until then. When I say interest earned until then, that means 10 by 100 times of here, it is 1,000 plus 100 plus 110. So now the new principal will be 1,210. So it's basically 1,210. It's not 1,100 now, it's 1,210. So 10 by 100 of 1,210, these two zeros get cancelled. So that will be 121 rupees. I hope you're with me. Now let's go ahead and understand compound interest for fourth year. What happens in the fourth year? Once again, it is 10 by 100 times of the new principal. Now, what is the new principal? New principal is nothing but the principal, the initial principal, which is 1,000 plus the interest earned until then, which is 100 plus 110 plus 121. So if you add that up, how much is that? Yes, Nash has already calculated. Ronak also calculated. It's 1,331. Okay, so 1,331. So 1,010 gets cancelled. So it is 133.1 rupee. So if someone asks you to calculate how much is the compound interest earned overall, so compound interest in this case is nothing but summation of all these interests add up, which is 0.1 there. So you have 133, 134, 154, 254, 254, 264, 364, 464. I think it's 464.1. I just added up, it is 464.1. Good. So that is the compound interest earned. So you can see compound interest is much, much more than the
simple interest.
Simple interest. So that's the basic difference between simple interest and compound interest. Now, in your own words, now can anyone explain me what is compound interest? Anyone? You can put it in your own words. You need not have a bookish definition. You can have your own definition. Sir, we are free to choose in bank whether we want compound interest or simple interest. That's a good question, Ronak. It's too early for us, but I'll answer your question. So basically, in the banks, when we take loans, basically what you actually do is they not only do compounding interest. Always interesting is always compounding in banks. Okay, but they take EMIs. That means you pay in equal installments. So when you pay installment back, you're paying a part of principal as well as some interest. So at every point in time, it's always compounded. So in banks, they compound monthly. Okay, there are banks who compound on a daily basis also, but you don't take loan like that. So basically, most of the banks, rather for a common man, the way the banking system works in India, it's monthly compounding. But when you pay EMIs, you pay along with principal as well as interest. So that's a different game altogether. Don't worry, you learn that when you go to higher standards. For now, you don't need that. Okay, so where is the simple interest is used? Okay, simple interest is used in a lot of people in their personal lending, home loan, not home loan, sorry. Friends end up taking loans from each other. They generally take simple interest. So, but there are people, when you take it from typical baniyas, when I say baniyas, you might have heard about Marwadis, you might have heard about, Jains who give loans, personal loans, private loans. So, I mean, I'm not getting into any culture. I'm just telling you, I mean, generally there are proper lending outlets, people lend money for interest. So there it's generally compound interest. And at times, even people, when they take money from each other, they get into compound interest also, but they define. I mean, like in this case, okay. So we'll come there, Ronak. Don't worry. So first, explain quickly. Anyone, can you define compound interest quickly?
So can I
directly go into definitions, but I want you to learn. Yeah, Ronak, go ahead.
The compound interest is the interest where the principal changes per year. And
so instead of using the word per year, can I say per term? So basically, here you're compounding annually. So you can do compounding. You can do half yearly also. There are terms. At times they will say compounding half yearly. They will say compounding quarterly. That means, yeah. So basically, whenever you compound in a particular term. So what compound interest is, interest that comes on not only principal, but also on the interest earned in a particular term. So every term you earn interest, and when you calculate interest on the principal plus the interest, that is called compounding interest. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Is everyone okay with that fundamental understanding? Yes, it means interest on interest, earning interest on interest along with the interest earned on the principal. Does that make sense? But for school exams, go with school definition, which is also very similar. It will be written in a particular style. You have to learn it that way. Okay. And in few schools, I'm sure teachers allow the way you write it. Okay. So that is fundamental. Now let's get on with understanding compound interest formula. So now, why is it important to learn compound interest formula? Because here, the calculations, the way they are presented in your exams, it's very important for you to learn formulae, especially for compound interest. But we will learn. We'll not just remember the formula. We'll learn. We'll do it. You know it. We'll do it now, right?